number one, don't break anything. Treat the cameras like they're your own. We'll talk about the differences between broadcast and access television. Pretty much the hugest difference is that they get all the money because they have commercials. We don't have commercials, and we're pretty much not allowed to take money. This is all for the community and by a volunteer basis. So, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to make you guys become producers. So now what a producer does is you're in charge of the entire show. Whatever the show is, you're in charge. You're in charge of getting the crew there. You're in charge of making sure all the equipment, make sure you have tapes, make sure all the audio works, make sure everything works. You're the overseer of everything. Now here's where you get a group, you get a crew. So hopefully now that's less stress on you guys and less things that you have to worry about. So if you come in and you have camera people, you have an audio person, you know, each person has delegated responsibilities. They can take care of things so that way now you don't have to do everything. There'll be like pre-production things. You have to just start thinking ahead. Thinking ahead if now you're going to do this samurai thing. Is there going to be, you know, you're going to need actors. You're going to need camera people. You're going to need, you know, microphones. You're going to need all these things. You're going to think of all these things where you just can't, you know, grab a camcorder and say, hey, you know, we're going to shoot a samurai movie. You know, and just you standing there shooting a couple guys fighting with swords. You know, you got to be a little more ambitious than that and get everything organized before you just go out and start shooting things. Because then once you start looking at it, you're going to be like, oh, this isn't that great. And then you go, once you have all your information set, begin to visualize the flow of your show. You know, if you need graphics, visual aids, demonstrations, you know, create a pace. Don't just throw everything together. Also, here's the thing, you got to remember what equipment you have and what you don't. You know, you can't all of a sudden say, you know, oh, yeah, we're going to throw in a, you know, a computer generation of this big monster that's going to come and kill people. You know, that's impossible. Release forms, all right? That's something that you guys are probably going to have to just make up. Just a, you know, I give permission to be, you know, Berlin Public Access permission to put me on TV. Talent release form, it's a legal statement showing the talent has voluntarily agreed to have their voice, image, or image appear on videotape. It indicates that they appeared without pay and shows that the producer is free to make use of the program. Premise release show that the owner of the location will tape your program has given permission to you. So that just means, you know, make sure that they know. Don't put anyone on TV that, you know, if they're walking by in the background, that's not a big deal. But don't just walk up to some guy, start filming him and, you know, maybe like harassing him and then put him on TV. Yeah. Say you guys do a show and you have a theme song, and your theme song you choose is a song by Madonna. You actually have to get permission from Madonna to use this tape. So many songs and just background music and things that are not copyrighted that can be used at any time. That's where it gets into a gray area, because now the person is actually performing it, but it also is another person's song. Now if it's, you know, just like if it's a whole show gone about, you know, someone doing other people's songs, that's maybe a little too much. But if this person is doing all of their, doing all original songs, and then they just have in their set is a famous song, you may want to just either tell them, you know, maybe not do that. This is where you get into like the gray area. If you want copyrighted music, you got to use a music release form. If you're using a local musician's original work, it will be much easier to get permission than if you want to use a nationally recognized artist's music because of the amount of red tape involved. Likewise, if you want to video, this is where we'll get into the whole thing if you were at the comment. If you want to videotape a school production of a famous play, you need to get permission to broadcast it. Whenever you're dealing with copyrighted material, there are certain guidelines to be considered. Now here's the thing, if you're doing, it's the school play. The school has already gotten permission to do the play. So all you have to do now is talk to the school guy and whoever got that, so that's where you can get the information back. Because if they already gave a copyright for them to do it, it can be put in their like contract that they said that it's okay to put it on public access. All right, that's on the news. It's okay if you talk about that or you have footage from a news source from TV, just give them a little credit on like your graphics. So when you're showing the thing, say, courtesy of Fox Television, that covers you, all right? But now if you want to use scenes from Gone with the Wind, now you don't want to do that, because now that is a real copyright infringement, because it's a non-true story, and that's something that someone else made up, came from their mind, so you can't just take that from them. Yeah, and then the larger the audience and the more often it is played, the less likely it is for fair use. Now, you guys are only going to be seen in Berlin, and Berlin is not that huge of a town, so a lot of things, people may not see. So this is, again, where you go into the, you may want to get permission and things like that, but, people may not see it. So it's all a big gray area on this whole part. All right, we'll move on to the production. Now, when you do the show, make sure before you even start this, all your pre-production is done. All your planning is done. So now when you walk in, you have everything set and everything ready to go. You got your people set up, you have your actors set up, you have your audio, you have everything set and ready to go. Because you don't want to say, yep, we're going live at 6 p.m. All of a sudden, you come strolling in at 10 of 6 and say, all right, let's put it together. Just be there early, be organized. Just make sure that everything is where you want it. Because now this show is something that you're doing. This is a reflection on you. If the show's terrible, who are they going to blame? They're going to blame you. All right, make sure everything's scheduled. Don't just assume that, oh yeah, I can get into the public access building, no problem, and then you come here and it's all locked up. Just make sure, just plan everything ahead. Just organize, just be organized, be prepared. Think of anything that can go wrong. Okay, now for your post-production. All right, your shoot's over. Thank people. You'll be amazed at how far a thank you goes. If you sit there and you do a show, and after you're done, say, okay, we gotta go. I want to thank Matt. I want to thank Bob and Fred and everyone else who was helped with this production. They were a great help. Let people know when it's going to be on. After you're done, say, hey, and you can catch the show. It's going to be on at 6, and then tomorrow at 9, and whatever. And that's another thing that you can also, we'll have it put on the bulletin board. First thing, nothing's going to work unless you put in a battery. I'm pretty sure that all batteries are the same. Label goes in, click right in. Now if you put it in the other way, there's your battery eject. If you put it in the other way, it won't fit. You won't even realize it. Power button, right here. Slide, red light comes on. Here's your viewfinder. This right now is just, all you gotta do is click it back over. Here's your eyepiece. You're ready to go. Other side. First thing, here's another thing. Make sure that your lens cap is off, or else you ain't gonna see nothing. Over here, this is your zoom. T is for tight, W is for wide. You hold it in, it zooms in. You hold it back, it comes out. Your focus is right here. Okay? Best way to focus, whatever you're gonna shoot. If I want to shoot Bill, I zoom in as far as I can, right on his face. Use your focus, get it crystal clear, right on his nose. As soon as that's crystal clear, you come back out. Now everything else will be in focus. Red button behind here, that's your record button. When you look it up, you get your hand in here, your thumb is to record. Goes right up on your shoulder, eyepiece, and there you go. And you use your fingers here to zoom in and to zoom out. So now this, I don't think that this actually does record, but here is your eject button. Wheels in. Fits right in. Click it, you'll hear it. Now you're ready to go. You go in, you shoot. Don't force anything in. If you sit there and go, this isn't working, but if I push it harder, it will. No. Everything fits a simple, perfect way. gets stuck, you're gonna try to just, most of the time it just probably, there it goes, falls right in. Now, we also have, on this side here, yep, this is you close this to make sure that this is closed. On certain cameras it's different, but most of the time you want to close that because now this means that the camera is in operation. You'll still be able to see things, but sometimes you may not be able to record depending on the camera because this thing will be open. You hear it? So now it's switching over to VCR mode. So that is it's just like
Those are like play buttons
Yep.
to stop, rewind buttons.
just like
are all
an
under
internal
there.
buttons, just like you're on a normal VCR. Now if you let it go, I think it's 3, depending on the camera, 3 minutes or so. If you're standing here and you shoot 3 minutes with it on standby, it may just turn off to save the power. Depending, see with these things, it's got the slide power, so it's always in the same spot no matter if the power is on or if the power is off. But if you have another one where, it's a flip switch, it's just like a light switch. When the light switch is up, it's on. When it's off, it's on. Doesn't matter how long you keep it on, it'll still go. But something like this, when it gets in the standby mode, it may turn off just because you haven't used it in a while, so the camera thinks that, oh, hey, we're done. And it turns off, just to save battery, to save time, to save everything. With this camera, on the side here, I'm gonna move this. On the side here is the iris, okay? What your iris is that's how much light is coming in through the lens here. So if we're in a room right now, there's, pretty good lighting in here, so it may not come into effect. But if you guys can see, can you see the little thing here? All right. If we want to put the iris open all the way, you just hold it. You see it? Does it get bright? You see it? It's like almost gets washed out. So that's the same thing. Adjust it to however you feel. Sometimes you want it as open as you can because it's kind of dark in here. Sometimes you want it closed because you're outside at the beach and it's a sunny day and there's not a cloud in the sky and it's so bright you can't even see. That's when you close your iris. If you were to, see white, it would just have like some stripes on it. They call them zebra stripes. When you have those on it, that means you're too bright. Come down on the iris just a bit. One of the also most important things to do before you even start to shoot, make sure your batteries are in, make sure your power's on. You have to do what we call a white balance. Okay? Now, you can take a regular piece of paper or anything that's white. White balance, WB, okay? That is, because what this does is because you're looking in a black and white monitor here. You zoom in on the white piece of paper, so all you see is white. And then all you do is hit the white balance button. What you need to do is you get the white, so now the camera calibrates that this is white. So now, because it knows that, it knows all the other colors and what they are supposed to look like. So everything won't look right. You'll see, instead of those being green, it may look black. It may look, those may look purple. Everything will be off. But if you do a white balance before you even shoot anything, it calibrates the whole camera. All your colors are now the same, and everything will look good. When you're recording something, this microphone here is part of the camera. So this is recording. When you press record, it's not only recording your video, it's recording everything that comes on from here. Now, if you have a different camera, there are some cameras that, have a microphone plugged in.
How do I know when the tape's going to run out?
There's a counter. Up here on the top is your counter. This is your reset and memory button and your tracking. All you would do is you would just press reset. All your numbers would turn to 0. You press record. So now when you're recording, everything will now time out. So you know how long your tape is, it goes in seconds. So if it'll just keep going. So if you're, you have a 2-hour tape, it'll go 59 and then it'll turn to an hour and then it'll keep going and you'll have time. And I would say You know, always once you have a backup tape. If you're sitting there and you're not really paying attention, you're paying attention to, you know, the action that's going on. All of a sudden your tape stops. Eject, pop in a new one, keep going. Last but not least, to put this on a tripod, here's your little screw here. What you would do is you would take this out because you don't want to keep it in here and you're out here going, you know, and spinning yourself all around,
Right.
you know.
That's what
So-
I was-
All you do, it's in. See this? This thing just moves here, and that's your lock. So what this is the side with, it's got a little lip on it. It fits right in. You move that, and it clicks right back in. And you're in. Very simple. But I put it in backwards.
That's all right.
But you would do it this way. Okay. Here's your handle. You can unscrew from here. If you don't like it, you know, up here, you like it down there. Adjust it to however you feel. Now this is, we'll have different tripods in the truck. We'll see that tomorrow. But all these, they come in, it's 1, 2, 3. The legs are in 3 spots. This one controls the bottom, makes it longer. This one right here makes that one. And then you can just tighten it up. And what you do is you keep all the legs as even as you possibly can. Make them all so it's a level machine. With the other tripods, we have a little bubble, you know, like the level that you would see if you were doing construction. There's just a little bubble, and underneath here is a little screw. So even if your camera legs are not perfectly set up to be level, you can adjust the whole head so that way it makes it, you know, this way, whatever, so that way it becomes level. You have your circle, your air bubble right in the middle. Pan, which is just this. Pan right to left. That's what panning means. Tilt is up and down. And then, well, it's 4 terms, but truck and dolly are sort of the same thing. Trucking is actually moving your whole camera over this way or over that way, and dolly is actually moving your entire camera either forward or back. Those are the basic terms that we're going to use.